Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 27th, and today I listened to What's the Story Morning Glory by Oasis. First of all, I do not understand this title. The parentheses makes it seem like the first half is optional, except it isn't because Morning Glory is not a question. Oasis is one of those bands that was definitely on the radar in the US. We got a couple songs from them, but they were really, really, really huge in the UK. There, they would consistently get into the top 20 with every single album cycle. The two frontmen of Oasis were Liam Gallagher and Noel Gallagher, who are brothers, and they fought all the time. Liam was the lead singer, Noel was the lead songwriter. They were so big in the UK that they often got compared to the Beatles, but in America, we only really ended up with one song from them, Wonderwall, which happened to be from this album, but there were plenty of other reasons why this is considered to be their best. I think that my first impression was that I believe that whether or not you can put up with Liam Gallagher's singing kind of makes or breaks how you feel about the band as a whole. The singing is technically not bad, he's hitting all the notes, but his tone is very nasally, kind of monotone. Aside from a couple of times, it didn't really present any problems for me specifically while listening to this album. Though I can understand somebody just flat out hating it and not being able to listen to any Oasis because of it. Another thing I noticed while we're on the side of Noel Gallagher is that his songwriting is pretty cryptic. Not like Nirvana levels cryptic, but a lot of these songs seem kind of hard to grasp. I mean, you get vague impressions about what these songs are about, but nothing concrete. I do like the composition side of Noel Gallagher's songwriting, though. I love the way that most of these songs sounded. My favorite song from What's the Story Morning Glory was the closer, Champagne Supernova. I've talked about songs on these albums that just go on for too long, but this is a long song that actually makes proper use of its runtime. Lyrically, I think this is the easiest song to get on the whole album. This is about self-destruction. Exploding into a champagne supernova doesn't sound like something that could possibly end well. It kind of reminds me of Hurricane Drunk by Florence and the Machine. It has a great melody to it, and I love the way that the song keeps building up on it. Almost like a supernova exploding. Other songs that I like from the album include Some Might Say and Cast No Shadow. Next is the question of were there songs on this album that I didn't like. I'd say the one that came the closest to me not liking it, oddly enough, was Wonderwall, but that's mostly because of the missed potential aspect of it. From a musical, compositional standpoint, this is a beautiful song. I love the way that the instruments come together. But it's still an Oasis song, which means that you still have Liam Gallagher singing on it, and it just does not match up. It really made me think of Tonight Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins in the fact that everything about the way it sounds is gorgeous, except for the singing. There's also apparently a big air of arrogance to Oasis, especially towards that time, and that does come through in the songwriting in addition to the way it's delivered. I have problems with Wonderwall, not necessarily because it's bad, but because it could have been so much better. And the final question is, do I think that this album holds up? I'd say for the most part, this album was pretty good. I mean, obviously there are problems with it, but it embodies a lot of the things that I love the most about 90s rock music. That big, sweeping sound. The way that everything felt really big and important, even though it was kind of hard to articulate why. To me, 90s rock has always been sort of encompassed by Ordinary World by Duran Duran and Bittersweet Symphony, and if you can remind me of those songs even a little, you're doing something right. In my opinion, at least. So, overall, I did like this album. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.